Welcome to Lee Kiao Jung channel. If this is your first time here, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share to support me in creating more meaningful videos. Today, we continue to follow the painful journey of Sung Luyen, a woman who has just endured a tragedy no one should ever have to face. The small house she once called home, a place filled with warmth, laughter, and quiet moments of peace, was burned to the ground in a matter of minutes by cruel hands. What had once been her shelter, her sense of safety, and her hope for a calm life was reduced to ashes, leaving behind nothing but silence and memories that now ache with loss. That house was more than wood and walls. It was where she rested after long days, where dreams quietly grew, where life felt stable, even if modest. And now, all of it is gone. The fire did not just take a home, it took a chapter of her life she will never be able to return to. With nowhere left to go, Sung Luyen begins to walk. She carries a small bamboo basket on her back, holding the few belongings that survived the fire. Items that may seem insignificant to others, but to her, they are all that remains of what she once had. The road ahead is long and empty. No voices, no footsteps but her own. The wind moves through the trees, whispering softly, making her loneliness feel even heavier with every step she takes. Inside her heart, uncertainty grows. Where will she sleep tonight? What will tomorrow bring? These questions repeat endlessly in her mind. She does not cry. There is no strength left for tears. Instead, she walks in silence, letting the sound of her footsteps guide her forward, even though she does not know where this path will end. As she moves deeper into the forest, surrounded by tall trees and wild undergrowth, something catches her eye. Hidden behind thick grass and tangled vines, she notices the faint outline of a structure. From a distance, it is barely recognizable. Without looking closely, one might never guess it was once a house. Time has clearly passed here. Grass has grown tall around it. Climbing vines wrap tightly around the walls and roof, as if nature itself has tried to reclaim the place. The wooden walls have turned gray, worn down by rain, wind, and countless seasons. The house stands quietly, forgotten, like a memory the world has chosen to abandon. Sung Luyen stops. She stands there for a long moment, simply looking. In her eyes there is caution, but also a fragile spark of hope. This place looks abandoned, but abandonment also means no one else is here, and for someone with nowhere to go, that alone means possibility. Slowly, carefully, she walks around the house. She examines the walls, the corners, the roof above. She listens, not just with her ears, but with her instincts, searching for any sign of danger. The forest is quiet, no movement, no sound of animals inside, just the soft rustle of leaves and the distant call of birds. She hesitates. Stepping into an abandoned house is never without risk, but the thought of spending the night exposed to the cold forest air with no shelter at all weighs heavier. After a long pause, she gathers her courage and moves toward the door, hoping this place can offer her at least one night of safety. As she pushes the door open, it lets out a dry, echoing creak, a sound that seems to have been waiting years to be heard again. Dust falls from the doorframe. The air is stale and heavy. What she sees makes her heart sink. The interior is a mess. Old trash is scattered everywhere, piled up in corners, covering the floor. Broken objects lie where they were left long ago. Layers of dust coat every surface, untouched for years. It is clear no one has lived here for a very long time. This house has been empty, silent, and forgotten. Yet even in its broken state, It has walls, it has a roof, and for Sung Luyen, right now, that is enough. She steps inside slowly, taking it all in. This place is far from comfortable, far from safe or welcoming, but after losing everything, she does not look for comfort anymore. She looks for survival. Standing in the middle of the abandoned room, surrounded by decay and silence, Sung Luyen takes a quiet breath. Tonight, this forgotten house may be the only thing standing between her and the cold darkness of the forest. And for now, she accepts it, not as a home, but as a temporary refuge in a life that has been suddenly stripped down to its most basic needs.
After stepping fully inside the house, Sung Luyen slowly lowers the bamboo basket from her back and places it gently on the floor. The basket holds the last fragments of her former life, a few belongings rescued from the fire, fragile reminders of what once was. She looks at them for a brief moment, then turns away. There is no time to dwell on loss. If she wants to survive the night, this place must be made livable. Without hesitation, she begins to clean. She picks up a broken broom lying near the wall and starts sweeping the floor. Dust rises into the air with every movement, making her cough softly. Old trash, dried leaves, and debris scatter across the room, evidence of years of abandonment. Each corner tells the same story. No one has cared for this place in a long, long time. Her movements are slow but determined. She sweeps again and again, pushing the dirt toward the door, clearing a small space where she can rest. The work is exhausting, yet she does not stop. Physical labor, at least, keeps her mind from returning to the painful images she tries so hard to suppress. But memories have a way of finding their way back. As she cleans, her thoughts drift to James, to everything he once did for her. The small house they built together, the simple but peaceful life they tried to create, the shared dreams, the quiet evenings, the feeling of finally having a place to belong. All of it destroyed in a single night by cruel and heartless people. The injustice of it all weighs heavily on her chest. That house was not just shelter. It was proof that her life was moving forward, and now that proof has been taken away. Once again, she finds herself living like a wanderer, without a home, without security, without knowing what tomorrow will demand of her. She pauses for a moment, resting the broom against the wall. Her hands tremble slightly, not just from exhaustion, but from the emotional weight she carries inside. Losing a home once is painful. Losing it again after rebuilding hope is something far deeper. Yet she does not collapse. Instead, she takes a deep breath and continues cleaning. She pushes more trash aside, clears a corner near the wall, and wipes dust from the surface with her sleeve. The space is small, but it is enough. Enough to sit, enough to lie down, enough to keep her off the cold ground for one night. After finishing what she can, Sung Luyen slowly lowers herself to the floor and sits down. Her back leans against the wooden wall, rough and cold. She closes her eyes briefly, allowing her tired body to rest. Her breathing becomes slow and steady, the sound blending with the quiet stillness of the abandoned house. In this moment of rest, silence surrounds her. No voices, no fire crackling in a hearth, no familiar sounds of a home, just the soft hum of the forest outside and the distant call of insects. This is not comfort, but it is calm, and right now, calm is all she can ask for. Though her body is exhausted, her mind remains awake. She reflects on how fragile life can be, how quickly everything can change. One day you have a home, the next you are standing among ashes. And yet, even after losing everything, she is still here, still breathing, still moving forward. Sitting alone in this empty house, Sung Luyen gathers what little strength she has left. She knows this place is only temporary. It is not a solution. It is simply a pause, a moment to recover before continuing her uncertain journey. For tonight, this abandoned house will be her shelter. And as she rests, she prepares herself, not just for the cold night ahead, but for the long road of rebuilding a life that refuses to break, no matter how many times it is pushed to the ground.
After resting for a while, Sung Luyen slowly opens her eyes. The fatigue in her body has not disappeared, but it no longer controls her. She knows that resting too long is a luxury she cannot afford. Daylight is precious, and if she plans to stay in this place, even for a short time, there is still much to be done. She reaches for her bamboo basket and carefully takes out her sickle. It is an old tool, its blade worn and darkened by years of use, but it remains sharp. This sickle has followed her through countless seasons of hard work, through fields and forests, through times of hope and times of struggle. Holding it in her hand gives her a familiar sense of purpose. She steps outside. The site surrounding the house tells a clear story. Thick vines crawl across the walls and roof, wrapping themselves tightly around the structure, as if nature has been slowly pulling it back into the earth. Tall grass and wild plants grow unchecked, pressing in from every direction. From a distance, this place does not look like a home at all. It looks like something forgotten, erased by time. Sung Luyen does not hesitate. She raises the sickle and brings it down into the tangled vines. The blade slices through the thick growth with a dull, heavy sound. One vine falls, then another. Some resist, strong and stubborn, clinging to the walls they have claimed for years. Each cut requires strength, focus, and patience. Her arms soon begin to ache. Sweat forms on her forehead and runs down her face, soaking into her clothes. Her breathing grows heavier, yet her movements remain steady and deliberate. She works in silence, letting the rhythm of her labor guide her. Lift, swing, cut, pull away, again and again. As the vines fall, patches of the wooden walls are slowly revealed. The house begins to take shape once more. It is still old, still damaged, but it is no longer invisible. Sunlight touches parts of the wall that have not seen light in years. In this moment, her work becomes more than just physical effort. It becomes a reflection of life itself. Just like this house, people can become buried under layers of hardship and pain. Problems grow quietly, wrapping around us day by day until we no longer recognize who we once were. From the outside, it may seem as though everything has been lost, as if there is nothing worth saving underneath. But Sung Luyen knows better. She understands that neglect does not mean the end, that even what appears broken can still be restored, one small step at a time. And so she keeps working, refusing to let exhaustion or doubt stop her. She moves along the side of the house, cutting away grass and vines that press against the walls. The pile of fallen plants grows larger at her feet. With each cleared space, the ground beneath her feels more solid, more stable. No one comes to help her. There are no voices, no encouragement, no hands reaching out to share the burden. The forest watches in silence.
Yet within this solitude, there is strength. Every swing of the sickle is a quiet statement that she is still standing, still fighting, still choosing to move forward. Her arms begin to tremble slightly, not from fear, but from fatigue. Her muscles protest with every movement. Still, she does not stop. Life has taught her a difficult truth. Waiting for rescue often leads only to disappointment. Survival, more often than not, depends on one's own will to continue, even when the heart feels empty and the body feels weak. She pauses briefly to catch her breath. Standing there, she looks at the house again. It is far from perfect. The roof is uneven, the walls are scarred by time, the ground around it is rough and uneven. Yet it stands, and so does she. In that moment, something becomes clear to her. Rebuilding does not mean returning to what once was. It means accepting what remains and working with it, no matter how little that may be. It means letting go of what cannot be recovered and focusing on what can still be saved. She tightens her grip on the sickle and resumes her work. She clears the remaining vines near the doorway, pulling them away from the entrance. With each cut, the doorway becomes more visible, more open. The house can finally breathe again. And, in some quiet way, so can she. There is dignity in this struggle, a quiet, unseen dignity that does not ask for recognition. The hardest work in life often happens without witnesses, but that does not make it meaningless. Each vine she removes feels like releasing one burden from her heart. Each patch of ground she clears feels like creating space for hope to grow again. As the afternoon light begins to soften, she steps back to observe her progress. The house no longer disappears into the forest. It stands clearly among the trees, worn and imperfect, but present. She rests the sickle against her leg and takes a slow, deep breath. This place may never be a true home. It may never erase the pain she has endured, but for now, it offers shelter. It offers safety, and sometimes that is enough. In reclaiming this forgotten house, Sung Luyen is doing something far greater than clearing vines and grass. She is reclaiming her sense of agency, her belief that even after loss, she still has the power to shape her own path. Life may have stripped her down to almost nothing, but as long as she can stand, work, and move forward, she has not been defeated. And so, as the sun slowly drifts lower in the sky, Sung Luyen remains there, a solitary figure in a quiet forest, proving without words that resilience is not about strength alone, but about the courage to keep going when everything familiar has been taken away.
After finishing the cleaning, Sung Luyen slowly sits down to rest. The day has taken nearly all the strength she has left, but tonight, this place will be her shelter. It is not comfort, and it is not home, yet it is enough to keep her safe for now. Life does not always give us what we deserve. Sometimes it only gives us what we can endure. And in those moments, survival itself becomes an act of courage. If this story touched your heart, stay with us. Subscribe to the channel to continue following Sung Luyen's journey, a journey of loss, resilience, and quiet strength in the face of hardship.